Hey everybody, welcome to Reign Radio. I am not at my house. I am at my brother's house. But I was in the shower and I was talking to myself. And a couple things came to me. Everybody likes results. You know, everybody likes results. Nothing wrong with liking results. But something that came to me was I'm not used to enjoying the journey, the process, the build up, the story. Everybody wants to get to the end of the book, but there's a beginning and there's an end, but there's a lot of flavor within the middle. You know, don't rush the sandwich. Enjoy the sandwich. You know what I'm saying? You know? Don't just hit the blunt. Enjoy the smoke. You know what I mean? Don't just down the drink, man. Sip it. Enjoy it. You feel me? Enjoy the cigar, baby. Enjoy it. Don't just rush right into it, man. You gotta kiss them first. You gotta feel on them. Yeah, you gotta talk to them. Hey, you gotta cook. You gotta slow cook it. Let it tenderize, you know? Let it moisten, you know? The biggest thing that I came into terms with was the deeper you go on the journey, the more results you'll get. Instead of looking at the results, just enjoy the journey and know that the deeper you go into the journey, the more results you'll find. You'll realize, like, oh, I'm better than this than I thought. Or, oh, I'm progressing more than I thought. Or, I'm growing more than I thought. When you're hitting those growth spurts, you barely even realize it, you know? I mean, you have aches and pains here and there, but you barely realize it. When you're in the midst of a glow up, you don't realize you're in the glow up until you've grown up. But you had going through things in the midst of that. So embrace the journey and know that once you embrace the journey, you will see results along the journey. But don't just go seeking results. You know, it's so many things that we want that are quick, but the biggest and the most treasureful thing is longevity. You don't want to be so quick that you succeed prematurely, you know, or you don't want to move so fast that you miss steps or you miss things. So enjoy the journey. Don't be afraid to enjoy the journey, and don't let anybody rush you or try to get you to only think that results are the only thing that's important, because it's not. Along the journey, you don't just find results. You learn things. You acquire new knowledge. You acquire new wisdom, new experiences, new skills, you know? It's like if you play Pokemon, I like Pokemon. So if you play Pokemon, you start off with a starter Pokemon, but by the time you're at the 8th gym leader, you got different types of Pokemon that you caught along the way, and the Pokemon that you had at the 2nd gym are not the same Pokemon that you had at the 8th gym leader. Or even when you get to the Elite Four, it's different types of Pokemon. You might have a legendary now. You see what I'm saying? It's a journey. You don't have to always, you don't start with the same Pokemon that you came in with. You might, but oftentimes nobody's bringing a Rattata, a Rattata, a Rattata. Nobody's bringing a Zigzagoon to the Elite Four with them. Like, unless they're doing like a challenge or something. But not to get technical with Pokemon, but still, nobody's bringing those Caterpies and I'm talking about Fire Red and Leaf Green, but nobody's bringing those with them. And if you are, then cool. But if it's rare, you find other Pokemon along the journey. So enjoy the journey and enjoy the new skills and enjoy the new people, enjoy all the new things that you're going to meet. It's not about just getting straight to the ending. When you're playing a game, it's not about just beating the game, it's experiencing the game. So don't be so quick to beat the game, because what you realize is you didn't really beat the game, you just rushed past it. You just rushed to the ending. But there's so many other things in the middle that you missed. So enjoy the journey instead of focusing so much on it. And yes, sit down if you have to, bro. Take a rest. Sit down. Go to sleep, bro. Take a nap. Stop staring at the numbers. It's gonna drive you crazy. You ever seen The Wolf of Wall Street? Numbers, frequencies. He was like, he was like mustard. I don't know. He was talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Shout out to Matthew McConaughey. But don't focus so much on the numbers. Don't focus so much on results. Results will come. Just continue to take the steps on the journey. Continue to go deeper into the journey. And you will. And, I'm going deeper into the journey. Don't stop. Because once you stop, then you become stagnant and you become complacent, and then you hit a plateau. And you don't want to hit a plateau. I mean, some people do, but for the people that want to keep going. Keep going on the journey. Go deeper. And don't be afraid to go deeper. Ignore all the outside noise and really go deeper. If you really care, if you really want it, if you really want to know, if you really want to see it, go deeper. That's all I'm saying. The next thing I wanted to say is, some people are slaves to power. They think that they're powerful, but really they're a slave to power. Power controls them. They don't know anything about control because they're a slave to power. Somebody was more powerful than them, made them feel bad. Therefore, they do the same thing to others. They're a slave to power. They don't own their own power. They don't go find their own power. Instead, they want to have power over others. It's two different things. Your own inner power and then having power over others, two different vibrations. Don't be a slave to power. Instead, harness your own inner power. Because that's going to also teach you the limits that you are going to make for your power. And also, you're going to understand it more. And every power isn't like destructive. Some people have healing power, but they have to be mindful that you're using your healing power wisely, because power without wisdom is an absolute mess. It is a fuck up, and we see it every day. Power without wisdom is a recipe for disaster. So be mindful. Don't be so quick to just gain power. Don't be a slave to power. Know that power comes with a responsibility, but you also need wisdom, knowledge. And I'm not talking about getting older, although older You do gain experiences, but I'm talking about inner wisdom, inner knowledge. I'm talking about within. I'm always going to be talking about within when I speak about wisdom or power and knowledge. Yeah, you can get it outwardly, but you also want to find the wisdom within, and you want to find people and you want to be around people who help you find the wisdom within. They don't want you to just be subjected to their knowledge or their wisdom, because then you're a slave to their knowledge and their wisdom. Instead, you want to be inwardly free, inwardly abundant, inwardly rich. And then all the outward stuff, you're able to enjoy. You don't seek out, you don't get greedy. Because when you have your own inner power, there's no need to seek outer power. There's no need to control others, because you know you're powerful within. You see what I'm saying? So, just my thoughts today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. But yeah, enjoy the journey. Don't be so quick to look for results, and don't be a slave to power. For real, that's a huge one. Do not be a slave to power, because it's people in power who are slaves to power. People who are in powerful positions, they're slaves to power. They're always gunning for each other. One person gets knocked off, another person comes, then that person gets knocked off, and another person comes. It's another war, then another battle, then another war, then another battle, then another war. Slaves to power. Because is it really worth it? Is the war really worth it? There's warfare, but is the war really worth it? You gotta, is it? Think about it. It's not. It hardly ever is. And the thing about war is the innocent people are the people that suffer the most. The innocents, the people who have nothing to do with the war, they're the people who are the ones getting killed and are the people suffering and all of that. Watch Star Wars or Clone Wars and you will see exactly what war does to everybody, including Anakin Skywalker. Because if you watch Star Wars, you're gonna see it as Anakin slowly uses the dark side more and more and more during this war time. And I have a theory that I think Anakin secretly liked war. I don't think Anakin, and I think Ahsoka said it, I don't think he would know what to do if there wasn't war. Because he's at war with himself. So the war is outward, and he's just, don't be a slave to power. Don't be a slave to these things. Just because they want you to be enslaved doesn't mean that you're a slave. My ancestors knew that. Even if they got captured and they put them in chains, they couldn't have our mind. They were more afraid of us than we were of them, because there are more of us than them. And we knew something that they didn't, and we still do. Rain falls out.